For more than 1,500 years, there's been a tradition in Chinese art, that which we have come to know as Chinese brush painting. Unlike the frequent fluctuations in styles and schools of art as we know them in the West, this tradition has remained largely unchanged, conforming to a set of basic rules, philosophies, and subject matter. Even today, this tradition is upheld, though there are a few artists, such as Chun-Hui Yu, who both uphold the traditions of the past while at the same time adding a level of poetic abstraction that is rather appealing to our 21st century sensibilities. Chun-Hui Yu is an artist well-trained and well-versed in the tradition of Chinese brush painting. Indeed, she currently teaches Chinese painting and calligraphy at Pacific Art League in Palo Alto, California. The derivation of her work extends well beyond that of contemporary painting and is deeply rooted in nearly 2,000 years of historical precedent. Viewers of her exhibition at the Triton Museum of Art experienced this impression of history immediately upon entering the gallery. Paintings suspend on elegant scrolls, as in ages past, and overall, one senses the imprint of tradition. But there is more to the art of Chun-Hui Yu, much more. Upon closer inspection, her paintings strike us as particularly modern, engaging the viewer with abstractions of nature and spirituality that require us to see and contemplate the inner world of our very being, the consideration of what it means to be human in this great cycle of our existence. In her painting, Spring Harmony, we see a misty landscape, as if situated on a mountainside with small abodes and trees suggested throughout. Our eyes move around the painting, and we get a sense of life and the spirit within. Contemplating Purity, for instance, depicts a man kneeling beside a rock outcrop by a stream, branches of a tree entering the picture plane from above. These elements are plain to see and understand. We are not called upon to try and decipher an object, as we might, for example, in a Cubist painting as seen in the West. The traditional Chinese artist is faithful to the forms portrayed. Landscape of a Thousand Ages offers us a view of a distant village at the foot of an imposing mountain. The foothills are grass-covered green, and the mountains dissolve into distant hues of blue set against a soft, clear sky. The houses below show the blue tile rooftops. Closer to our view are two figures, one working at a table, the other walking. We recognize all of these, in part because the artist remains faithful to the conformity of colors throughout. The proper placement of elements, or the harmonious composition of a painting, were also to be taken into account. In Chun-Hui Yu's painting, Heavenly Spring, we are offered a well-balanced landscape wherein tiny rooftops evidence the presence of people existing therein. The setting seems natural and complete, even though we know that we are only seeing a slice of the panorama from which this view was composed. Nothing seems out of place, which is, of course, intentional. One of the artist's more traditional depictions is seen in Echo of the Qing. Here, the viewer is presented with a recognizable landscape, replete with mountainous rocks, trees, a subtly obscured abode, and branches cascading down into the onlooker's field of vision. We recognize the monumentality of the setting. This majestic realism, however, is suborned in her painting Contemplations. wherein we see a succession of quick and energetic brushstrokes that combine to give a sense of the whole. Details in this more spontaneous rendering are not nearly so important as the conveyance of the artist's hand and her personality in its execution. Many of the artist's works appear to be more lyrical, and thus more compatible with the contemporary abstraction inherent in the works. State of Mind offers us a dreamlike mass of ethereal blues, touched here and there by earthy yellows, in what can only be described as a psychological rendering. Indeed, the very title, State of Mind, takes us out of that worldly realm and into the inner realms of our very nature. The artist has thus become a channel through which this cosmic energy flows. The works are thus not representational as such. Rather, the body, mind, and spirit join in unison to convey the feeling of energy inherent to any given subject. She gives contemporary viewers a springboard for inner contemplation. This, then, is the strength of Chun-Hui Yu's art, to move us beyond the strict delineations of tradition, and to give us a vision into the world beyond the temporal, to see the world as a metaphor for the cosmos, evoking in us a feeling of mystery, awe, and ultimately, unity.